Hey everyone, how's it going? Anthony Cosenza with Casa Realty Group here, coming at you with our second week of October market update. It's officially fall. I've got fall colors on. It's also the color of my favorite football team as well. So kind of dual representation between fall and football. But regardless, happy to have you tuning in with us to go over some recent real estate data, some news, points of data and information based on where this market is heading in the fall, in the winter, and in the early parts of 22. And there's some really interesting data that I really want to share with you earlier this week. And I'm going to recap this on this episode too. Earlier this week, there was an article that was put out by Realtor.com. We went over it. It's basically dispelling 6 myths that home buyers are kind of using. I don't like to use the word excuses, but it is a little bit of that too. Dispelling 6 of those that are pretty prevalent in this market with home buyers that are looking to buy right now. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We've got some other interesting articles about where the market is headed. Got some information from our friend Kevin Buddy at Monarch Coast Financial that we're going to share with you as well. So we've got a lot to get to. And then we've also got a little bit of something for you for fun. You know, I mentioned I'm dressed up for the fall here. We've got a little fall activity in the community in Orange County that you can look to do for our community spotlight. So without further ado, let's get into our market update for this week. So as I mentioned, our market update this week is brought to you by some of the information. We've pulled some of our own through the MLS and whatnot. So we've done some of our homework. We've got some other articles from other sources, but some of the data I'm going to be sharing with you now is courtesy of Kevin Buddy, the president at Monarch Coast Financial. You can see there his contact information, 949-422-2075. Buddy, Budde, at monarchcoastfinancial.com is the email address. A great guy and a great asset to have in the industry in terms of a resource for our clients. He's been in the business for decades, worked both as with some of the larger lending companies, the big national corporations, and now he is an independent broker and president of Monarch Coast Financial, a guy who has served our customers well, served many, many customers and clients in the Orange County area and Southern California area, and even beyond, does refinance, does home purchases and everything. A great guy and a very, very trusted resource in the mortgage industry and in the real estate industry. Here are some points of information that he has shared with us. July marked the 4th consecutive month of increasing home prices by Schiller Reports, a record increase since the reporting began, which was back in the 1980s. The Southwest region rising 24.4%, and the Western region, in terms of home prices, rising 23.7%. So you're still seeing some rises and some big home price rises, and this is year over year that we're talking about here. Obviously, last year being a very odd one with us being right in the middle of the pandemic, especially if you're talking about the summer months, the fall months. So the big jump there has a lot to do with that, and we'll talk more about that as well in just a little bit. NAR reports that home purchases dropped by 2% in the month of August. Median national home price up 14% from last year. So again, this is nationally speaking, but you could see here that 14% up from last year is the median across the nation there. So something to note in terms of where home prices are going, where things are at in comparison to last year. Again, this is kind of the median national home price up, like I said, 14% from last year. The properties stayed on the market an average of 17 days in August, which was unchanged from July. Now, as you've noted, as you've probably heard in our other updates and whatnot, This is starting to change a little bit. We're starting to see, particularly in some of the areas we cover in Southern California, Orange County, we're starting to see some homes sit a little while longer, whether they got a little aggressive on the front end with their pricing. Folks have seen the homes and they realize that they maybe need a little bit more work and cosmetic stuff done, repairs, all that kind of stuff. Or some of these homes have been in escrow previously and have fallen out of escrow. But in general, the market average nationally is 17 days. As of August, we're still compiling data for September and whatnot, but 17 days in August, which was unchanged from July. So still it was a pretty hot market, as you know, in summer. We're going to see some changes a little bit with that, I think, coming up here from September and through the end of the year. We're, like I said, we're still compiling last month's data in September and then moving forward there. But pending home sales in the West, so pending, of course, meaning getting under contract, agreeing to purchase the home. In the West, the Western region grew 7.2% in August, but was down overall 9.2% from last year. So some interesting statistics there. We're getting a rise in purchases, but still down overall in terms of last year. Now, here's where the buyers really have to pay attention to some of this. What I'm going to tell you here, Freddie Mac announced a slight uptick in loan rates recently, and you've probably seen that in the past week or so. And there are going to be, modest or incremental ones to come going forward. That's going to affect the housing market. That's going to affect the prices. And I keep kind of using the analogy of the balancing of the scales. That's going to do that. That's going to balance the scales a little bit more for buyers. Now, sellers can still get, a top dollar for their listing. They can still leverage the equity that they may have accrued in their homes. And that's something that we want to drive home as well. But it is still, and then you'll see a message here, it is still, despite a lot of preconceived notions, despite a lot of rumors, despite a lot of hearsay, still a good time to buy a home. But if you are a home buyer, this is kind of a really unique time, not only because of the home prices and everything you're seeing there, but you're also going to start to see a little bit of an uptick in mortgage rates slowly going forward as the economy tries to do its part in balancing those scales even further. So if you're a home buyer, that's something you need to know and monitor, that there could be some rising mortgage rates for you, and that could affect certain situations in terms of your ability to buy a house, etc. Right now, the 30-year fixed national average is 3.01%. The 15-year fixed is 2.28 national average. And this was all of that right there was courtesy of Kevin Buddy at Monarch Coast Financial. You can contact him 949-422-2075. One of our trusted allies in this industry, K Buddy, KBUDDE at Monarch Coast Financial, a great guy, valuable resource, as I've said, in this industry in terms of helping clients, keeping them informed, working with them on refinances, purchases, all of that. He is a very, very valuable ally that we have at Casa Realty Group. Give you one more, just a little bit of information on Kevin here. He has, as I mentioned, a ton of experience. He's been doing mortgage work and working with a number of different companies. Now is his own independent broker of a great company, Monarch Coast Financial, since 1976. So if you want experience, if you want a guy who has seen the ins and outs of this market and seen what it's been doing, how to navigate your loan situation through this market, this is the guy to call. And again, I'll just scroll down, here we go, Kevin Buddy. A little smaller there, but hopefully you could see what it is. 422-2075 is the mobile number, KBUDDE at monarchcoastfinancial.com. So experience is the name of the game, especially in this market. With on the loan side, obviously on the real estate representation side, I've mentioned a number of times the Casa Realty Group is in its 16th year of existence, and there are decades and decades and decades of accrued real estate experiences between the brokers and the associated realtors in this brokerage. So, you're going to need experience, you're going to need industry knowledge. Kevin Buddy provides it on his side with the mortgage side of things. We like to think we provide that on the real estate side of things as well. So keep us in mind. And always, as always, you can go to CasabelleRealtyGroup.com on the website. You can check us out on our social media channels. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. So we're on YouTube as well. That's part of where we're streaming there. So go subscribe to our channel, find us Casa Realty Group, hit the bell to be notified when we go live, when new stuff's available. And we'd love to keep you informed on what's going on in the market. Let's keep it rolling with a number of different updates as well as it pertains to the real estate market. And we're talking nationally on some of these things, but it also obviously pertains and trickles down to the regional side of things, the Southern California, Orange County side of things. I'm just going to play. Earlier this week, I went live on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page, and I was going to save that for this market update, but I felt like this was such an important article and such a resonating article that I wanted to do a standalone post with it. Now, it was a 6-point, myth busting 6 points or 6 preconceived notions by buyers in this market. I'm going to play just a brief clip. It's about 2 minutes. I'm going to play a brief clip of it, going over some of it as part of our real estate update. And I've got some more articles and information to share with you all as well. But I wanted to add this one in, even though it's an abbreviated version of it. You can find the entire video on our Facebook page. You can find the entire video of it on our YouTube channel. Please do that so you get all 6 points. But here's a brief overview of what we covered in that things. Now, the article I'm going to show you does paint a picture from a national perspective. I believe one of the real estate agents noted in the article is from Massachusetts. However, this still resonates even in Southern California, Orange County. This was an excellent article that came out at the end of September. 6 things people say about buying a home today that aren't actually true. Show you. Now, you see here, point number 1 is it's a bad time to buy a home. And we've said at Casa Realty Group that it's not a bad time to buy a home because prices are still going to, every economist and forecaster is saying that prices are still going to go up, just maybe not at the rate that they've been going up. And the interest rates are still low. We've seen a slight uptick in interest rates recently, but they still remain low. So it remains a decent time to buy a home despite the high prices. And you see here, even though there are fewer homes on the market, higher prices and intense competition, experts insist that despite the odds, it's actually still a good time to buy a home. For one, the market is finally starting to soften. Combine that with low mortgage rates, and this number 4, I'll end up in a bidding war. You definitely could. That's been kind of part and parcel of this market. But you can see here, while the market is still competitive, Arienti, who is a real estate agent that they've polled here on the Realtor.com article, says homes in his area aren't receiving as many offers these days, maybe 1 or 2 instead of dozens. Again, probably not as drastic in Southern California in terms of the change, but we are seeing that change. It's still competitive. There's no doubt about it. But if you think you fall in love with a house as a home buyer and you're just saying, well, there's no way I'm going to get this house because of the first 3 things that I've listed, and of course, number 4, I'll end up in a bidding war. That's not necessarily the case. So you can see there's a little bit of an overview. Go check out that entire video to see all 6 points that we covered in that. Really, really neat article courtesy of Realtor.com as to why it's still a good time to buy and why you may need to take advantage of this still good time to buy because of these loan rates that we're telling you about that are seeming to climb just a little bit, and they will continue by reports. You just heard some information courtesy of Kevin Buddy. They're going to incrementally increase, probably not by much, but you're going to start seeing a slow uptick of these rates climbing just a little bit. So you're going to, if you are thinking about buying, this is a really, it's a really unique time to buy, and it could be a very good time to buy despite seeing some of those home prices out there. And those may continue to climb as well, but that's going to start balancing as well. We've talked about that on a number of different fronts. Let's continue. Here is an article from Realtor Magazine giving you a little bit of insight from a magazine, a publication that we realtors like to reference. And you can see here, Realtor Magazine, why this fall is a big opportunity for buyers. Another article, and this is as of October 5th. So this is even about, a week later than the Dispelling Six Myths article that we went over on our channels and whatnot. But you can see here, quote, this September, buyers had more options than they've had all year. And while that's typical of early fall, that's not what happened in 2020, says Danielle Hale, Realtor.com's chief economist. Still, it's important to remember that while buyers may have an easier time this fall than they did in the spring, the market remains more competitive than it historically been at this time of year. Again, there are still fewer homes for sale than a year ago and less than half as many 2 years ago before the pandemic. So here you go here. There's stuff about a walk and talk in terms of abbreviated home inspection. We don't, that's not something we normally recommend for our clients, but you can see here, we mentioned this as well. Fewer home buyers are waiving home inspections, indicating sellers are more amenable now to a buyer coming in and asking for a home inspection. So that's good news for buyers. Again, the tipping of the scales is another that's another indicator of that a little bit, balancing things out a bit. And then you can see here. Quote, if things are staying on the market a little longer versus staying on a couple days, it might be time for buyers to get back in the market. We have said this on our show here. When we work with clients on the buyer side, we have said, you may want to take a look at some of these that have been sitting for a little bit, because you may be able to get a very good house. Yes, the price may be higher than you may have expected to pay. However, you may still be able to get a very good house, and at a little bit more of a amenable negotiation if that thing's been sitting for a little while. So that's something to think about on the buying side. And obviously on the selling side, you got to make sure that you have the right real estate team. You got to make sure that the home is priced appropriately yet aggressively, and that you maximize the equity that you've accrued in your home. And that takes a lot of expertise to do that. So interesting article there from Realtor.com in terms of, again, reiterating, let's go back and look at the title here, why this fall is a big opportunity for buyers. And that plays into everything we are talking about in terms of potential rising of mortgage rates and everything. That's something to think about. One other quick article before we get to our MLS data that we compiled for this week. And then, of course, we'll get you out of here with something to do in the community here. One other thing that I thought, this is another Realtor.com article that I thought was very interesting and insightful for both buyers and sellers. Condos and townhomes are becoming really hot. And I think, and this is as of October 4th. And I think part of this is because, some folks are just priced out of the larger single family residences that they want. There are still, depending on where you go, there are still condos that have, some form of a decent backyard, some form of a side yard, that sort of thing. So you can still get some of the things you're looking for. Some condos are still very spacious. Same thing with townhomes. Some of those are obviously attached and all that kind of stuff, whether it's condos or townhomes. So that's something you have to think about. But, there are still some really nice condos, townhomes that could be available, and people want them. People want them in this market. So I thought that this was very, very interesting from Realtor.com here. Again, I don't want to go too much into it because it talks mostly about the Florida market being one of the hottest in terms of condos and townhomes being moved. But look at here, if you look at the graph from April of 2020 and June of 2020-ish, that era, you could see the big dip. Everybody wanted the big houses where they could try and take, get into these big houses. And then you see this very kind of aggressive climb here. And you see here, April, there's a big demand, obviously correlating with the incredible hotness of the market. It has since cooled a bit as we go into fall, but you could still see that level is extremely high in terms of number of sales and obviously correlating with demand. as it goes with condos and townhomes. So really, really interesting. That is nationally speaking, obviously, but in Southern California, in Orange County, there are a number of different really nice condo townhome options, particularly in these coastal communities where you can still get, a nice home, a spacious home. You may not get the size yard that you're looking for, but maybe you sacrifice that for a view of the ocean or a view of some other areas. Maybe you sacrifice some of that, some of the yard space for something else in the home. There are gives and takes to them, but there are some very nice condos and townhomes in the Southern California and Orange County areas. So definitely keep that in mind if you are a home buyer and looking to, maybe you're looking to get into your first home, and that's a great starting point. Maybe you're looking to, maybe you're empty nesters and you're looking to downsize a little bit, and going from that big single family, and you need something a little bit more small and manageable. And of course, on the selling side too, if you have a very nice condo that you've kept up well, maybe it's a condo that is zoned as a condo, but almost is single family residence ish. That could be a very desirable home in this market as well. So something to keep in mind as you go forward there, and something that we can help you navigate at Casa Realty Group if you are so inclined. I'm going to get now our MLS data from this is as of Friday. So Friday morning, we pulled this data straight from the MLS. So use this in conjunction with the articles and videos and Kevin Buddy's information that we have given you so far. So here is a video graphic of what's going on here. Hopefully you can see all that. This is the October 8th MLS data. You can see here coming soon. Now this is Orange County data, mind you. 174 with 118 from October 8th to October 17th. So over the next calendar week and a half or so, 118 of those 174 will be coming soon. Active 2,086, with 367 of those coming from this past calendar week, October 1st through October 8th. Active under contract, that's AUC, or pending, 3,284 total between those two statuses, with 407 of those starting since the beginning of this week, October 4th. Closed sales, you can see there, 584 since last Friday, October 1st. So look, there are homes available. There are active homes. There's still a shortage on the market, but there are still great homes to be had. Still a lot of opportunity out there for buyers, and still you can see, because there's still not a ton of inventory, still not a lot of homes available out there for buyers. So sellers can still take advantage of some stuff. The rates haven't climbed too far yet for buyers, so there's still going to be some demand out there. It's just it's a really unique market, and it's a really unique time to either buy or sell. And as a buyer, some of these prices may jump out at you a little bit and make you go, make you say, whoa. But again, we're seeing things kind of balancing out a little bit more as the year goes on and comes to an end. And of course, when 22 comes up, keep an eye on those mortgage rates. I keep hammering that home. Keep an eye on those mortgage rates over the next couple of months to see what exactly happens there. We gave you a lot there in terms of articles and data and all kinds of different percentages and numbers. So hopefully you found all of that useful. We're going to transition now into something a little bit lighter, something to do in the community. We like to highlight either a business, whether it's a larger business, a community nonprofit, a small business, what have you. We like to highlight something, an event. So we like to highlight some of the things going on in the community. And we've got an interesting one for you now that is fall themed. So one of the things that families love to do this time of year is, whether it's Halloween or at Christmas time, pumpkin patches, tree lots, all that kind of stuff. Some of that stuff was a little bit limited last year in terms of what you could do. Obviously, social distancing and masking and all that kind of stuff. And some of these things just didn't open up in general. But things seem to be normalizing a bit more right now in 21. At the end of 21, here is a really cool event going on at the Orange County Fairgrounds here. It is the Seasonal Adventures. Seasonal Adventures is I think it's a pretty large brand, but they put on these really cool pumpkin patches, tree lot type of things. And they have a huge pumpkin patch with rides, petting zoos, inflatable slides, bounce houses, obstacle courses, and of course, pumpkins for purchase, picture opportunities, all kinds of different things. It is going on. It is starting literally today. And you can see the hours here. It starts this afternoon, Monday through Thursday from 3 to 9 p.m. are the hours. Friday, 3 to 10. And let's scroll down and show you the rest of the weekend numbers there. Saturday and Sunday, 11 to 9. So you can see there from October 8th through October 31st at the OC Fair and Event Center. They have a really neat pumpkin patch going on there. Petting zoo, inflatable slides, bounce house, pumpkin patch, all kinds of different stuff. And you can see here how much. Well, the entrance is free. So not, what's better than getting in somewhere for free, right? So entrance is free, but obviously if you want to do activities or if you want to buy pumpkins there, parking depends on the day and other events that may be happening at the fairgrounds. But so there may be some other ancillary prices to get in here, but overall, this is a free event to get into. So bring the kids, bring family members. Should be a really fun time at the OC Event Center. And usually the OC Event Center does things on a really big scale, but they do them very well. So go check that out. More can be found at ocfair.com, and you can click on the events page, and then there's the seasonal events. And you can see this web page here. But again, free to enter, maybe some other costs to participate in some of the activities and or parking. But from October 8th through Halloween, this is open Monday through Thursday, 3 to 9 p.m., Fridays, 3 to 10 p.m., Saturday and Sundays, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Go check it out at the OC Fair and Event Center. There are a lot of different pumpkin patches as well that you could go check out. A lot of different spots. I know the outlets at San Clemente have a really nice one as well. Other areas throughout Orange County will have some really cool ones too. So go check out that. But we wanted to especially highlight that one at the Orange County Fairgrounds. We'll be back next week with more. There's been a lot of news and a lot of different developments because there's been some realtor meetings this week in Anaheim, and there's been a lot of new information with that. So we will be bringing that to you as well. One other thing I wanted to mention before we get out of here, we don't normally like to talk COVID numbers and all this kind of stuff, but we did get an email from the California Association of Realtors. And while obviously there is still a lot of work to be done to handle the COVID-19 crisis in the state and around the world, really, there's been a noted decrease in terms of data that's been provided through the state of the COVID cases, et cetera. There has been a decrease per California Association of Realtors, decrease of 27.6% in terms of daily average of cases from 2 weeks prior. So 27.6% drop from 2 weeks prior in terms of daily average of COVID cases. Hospitalizations tracking downward by 15% from the prior week. And nationwide COVID-19 cases are waning since September 1st. The number of new daily cases has fallen 35% nationally. So that is all good news, not only from just a general health and safety perspective. That's obviously topping the list of all of that. But the COVID-19 pandemic has affected everything in terms of economy, real estate market, etc. So when you see these drops, it's not only a great sign for what's ahead with public health and everything, but It's also a great sign for things starting to normalize, hopefully businesses continuing to rebound, and the real estate market continuing to hopefully flourish as well. Thanks, everybody. Hope you enjoyed all of this information that we provided for you. You can check it out on our YouTube channel, on our Facebook page. We post different things on our Instagram page as well. So go like those, check it out. We appreciate your time checking these out. And if we can be a resource to you in any way, whether it's making an introduction to someone else in the industry that can help you get the information you're looking for, whether it's getting you information on your home if you're looking to list, giving you information on what's going on in the market as you look to potentially buy a home, if you're looking at leasing, if you're looking at investment properties, if you have a multi-unit property, we have handled all of those and have done all of those transactions very recently as well. So let us know, CasabelRealtyGroup.com. I'm Anthony Cosenza, one of the realtors at Casabel Realty Group. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you next time on our real estate market update and some other stuff we'll bring you to. Thanks. Have a good weekend.